All right. What is going on, everybody on YouTube? Griffin here, coming back to you guys with another live Sunday stock watch from the Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur YouTube channel. First and foremost, if you're tuning in for the first time before or after this stream turns into an upload, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below if you're looking to start investing in the stock market, trading options, swing trading, day trading, any type of trading within the stock market is what we're all about here. So if you're into that, definitely consider subscribing, like I said. And we also have a Discord group chat. There's a little over 60, right around 60, 70 of us in there right now. Just amazing to see that community growing as well. That's down in the description box, I believe, of this stream. All my social media and whatnot's down there as well, but the Discord group chat is by far the easiest way to reach out to me, get a hold of me, as I get notifications pretty frequently there. But you're gonna have to kind of bear with me today because, as you can tell, I think I'm starting to get a little bit of a cold. I don't know if it's a cold or if it's sinuses, allergies, whatever the case may be. My throat kind of started hurting over the last couple days, and it's not getting much better. So just bear with me if I cough from time to time. I'm going to try to keep it to a minimum. Got my drink here from Burger King, but we'll just hop right in. Like I said, with these Sunday stock watches, if you guys have any ticker symbols, questions in general referring to trading, investing, options, anything, I'll answer to the best of my ability. And with your ticker symbol stocks that you want me to take a look at, I will just tell you straight up if I would invest, or try telling me if you're looking at swing trading, day trading, that type of thing. But other than that, for anyone that's, hopefully we're doing all right on the stream too. But just to recap, like I said, overall last week, not last week, but the last month, we've done 31% of profit. Definitely not bad the last month or so. And overall last week, we were up actually about 18%. It was just because I have Robinhood Gold now. They took $10 out of my account, so that kind of drops my overall percentages from that standpoint. And I'll talk more about Robinhood Gold in the future as well. I don't know how long I'm actually going to keep it because I should have did my homework on it a little bit more before I hopped in. I read everything that was there, but it didn't mention anything about options trading and crypto, and you cannot use your margin for crypto options. Is strictly for buying stock only. So I'll give it a try. I'm considering hopping into a position of Gush since it's so low. I look for it to rebound to somewhere around 9 to 950 sometime in the next day or two. So I was considering maybe using some margin for that. But I don't know how long term I'll end up keeping that margin. We'll kind of see how it goes, and I'll keep you guys updated on that. But yeah, so overall, like I said, last week we had a pretty good week. And we'll look to continue with trading SPY options. Overall, I'm short term a little bit bullish just because simply we've been down like 5 of the last 6-7 days, or 6 out of the last 7, something like that. So due overall for a good little bounce back. The market after hours actually ended up slightly after the after hours session. We ended at 275.01. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see tomorrow if this gets rejected at 275 in the pre-market overnight session, or if we just go on past 275 and retest 276.50. I do see that as a possibility, but we'll kind of see. It kind of went up a little bit too much. It kind of made me slightly worried there at the end of the day on Friday. It made me a little bit worried how much it just suddenly started shooting up right at the end of the trading session. So that'll be something to watch for sure. I always like to look at that 20-day, 1-hour chart. But when we look out from an overall like 180-day standpoint, you can see we're still within this little range that we've kind of been in, with the exception of the bear market, if that's what we want to call it, that we went into late at the end of last year. We're still just within this 265 to 280 to 281 kind of range. We got rejected right around 281. You can see we're curling back down, testing that SMA. We are now below the EMA, which I'm not too worried about. I'm personally not too concerned about it. I'm looking more to see, are we going to actually get back? We're above the SMA right now. So like I said, are we going to get rejected here right around 275, just above 275, and then come back down below it and continue on down? Or are we going to actually go back above it, get above that EMA as well, hold above it, and maybe retest 280 sometime in the coming week? It's really a coin toss right now. We're not oversold necessarily anymore on our RSI. But it's starting, our MACD is starting to show that selling may potentially be starting to wear off. So like I said, I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow, in all honesty, if we do retest like 276.50, somewhere in that range. But the overnight session is going to be pretty critical when it comes to that, because if we just get rejected at 275-ish and we continue back down into the 274s, then we'll probably have another red day. But something, my gut's telling me that they're not going to let that happen. It'll probably retest 276 to 277, somewhere in that range tomorrow. But we'll see. Seeing crazier things happen. They could just pull the rug and us continue on down. I do think overall for this pullback, I think the absolute maximum that we're going to retest is around like 265 if we continue to sell off. I said personally within the last week or two that if the market retested SPY specifically, if we retested like 272, 273, I think that would have been a healthy pullback. We've gotten that. We literally bounced right at like 272.50, I believe is what it was. Yeah, right around 272.50. We built an amazing support right around there during Friday. And then we obviously had the pretty amazing rally to finish the day. So overall, if I was to throw a bet on it, I would say I think tomorrow is going to be a green day. But like I said, 275 is going to be the critical number. Are we going to hold it overnight, or are we going to go back down? So what does that mean for me though? Nothing. I mean, I'm not necessarily long, short the market, anything like that. You guys know I just look for close to lows of the days, or close to not even high of the day necessarily, just like I keep talking about over and over with trading these short-term weekly SPY options. The only thing that I do is I look for a massive oversold condition, not even quote-unquote massive, just an oversold condition on the RSI. I like to see that our selling on the MACD is wearing off. And then you can see right there, you hop in and then you ride it up just a little bit. You don't need again, you do not need a big move. And then boom, you make your quick 5, 10, 15+% profit on some SPY calls in this case. And then rinse repeat. You can do the same thing, which is actually what we did. You can do the same thing to the downside. Forget which time I did it, right in here. And you wait until it's close to overbought on the RSI, preferably actually in overbought condition, because it's just gonna make your profit a little bit larger, but at least close to overbought, and then place some puts, ride them out, make a quick, again, at the minimum 5, close to 10, usually about 10% on average, somewhere around 6 to 12 usually is what I've noticed. I've had some as low as 6%, and then I've had some as high as 12, 13%. It's just usually right around that 7 to 11% profit, which in my opinion, in a few minutes of trading, isn't that bad. A few minutes of trading as in minutes in the trade. Obviously, I watch it throughout the day and then place the trade, but I mean, just keeping an eye on it to me isn't necessarily working. It's just checking the chart, seeing if we're overbought, oversold, looking at it, going no, not yet, and then just keep on going on with my day at work. But tomorrow's going to be kind of an iffy day for me with trading. I do have a day trade available, opening back up tomorrow, which is awesome. Monday, Wednesday, Friday are the days that I can day trade at least once, one day trade, thanks to that PDT rule, of course. But we have our, me and my fiance have our doctor's appointment thing for the sonogram to take a look at the baby and whatnot. It's been like 2 months since we've had a sonogram done, so I definitely don't want to miss that. But point being, I won't have to necessarily be at work, so I might be able to slip a trade in there depending on how the market moves early on. You guys know I usually do not like to do my trades within like the first half hour or so, just because we have a lot of this just kind of sideways action, no overbought or oversold condition. But usually after about that first 30 minutes to an hour, you can see my time is in Central Time, keep in mind. You can see pretty much right after an hour after the market opened, we were overbought. If you would have placed some puts right here and even just wrote it to right here, I mean, you would have made, let's see, we had about say you got in right here, you had roughly a 30-cent move to the downside. I mean, that's a big enough move and quick enough where you probably in that position would have made at the minimum, I would say 12 to maybe as high as 15-20% profit, probably somewhere around 14% profit on some puts in that position. But Usually, like I said, for the most part, we don't like taking a position early on just because the market's, most of the time, the market's trying to figure out which direction it's going to go in, if it's going to keep selling off if we're starting out red, or if it's going to keep pushing up if we open up green. So we kind of just let that work itself out. Sometimes it does happen. After about 30 minutes, 15-30 minutes, we'll have some massive drop and we'll see some oversold condition. Go ahead and place a call on it. We did this a little over a week ago. I think it was last Monday, actually. I don't remember the exact day, last Monday or Wednesday. It was about 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes after the market opened. I placed some calls. I think I only made 6-7% on that trade, but it was a quick trade and we made 6% profit. So we'll just keep doing that, and if or when we hit oversold, overbought, I will definitely be hopping in. But let me make sure real quick that our stream, it looks like we're still doing all right. Hopefully we're doing all right on the YouTube end. Looks like we have 5 of you tuning in. And like I said, the whole point of this stream is if you guys want me to break down any specific stocks, inverse ETFs, any type of, I wouldn't say futures necessarily, but stocks, ETFs, questions in general. If you have any questions about trading, investing, swing trading, options trading, anything like that, just shout it out there in the chat. That is what this whole stream is all about. And like I said, if you're new and you're looking to join an awesome community of people trading in the stock market, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button right now and checking out our Discord group chat down in the description box. But moving on from SPY, since we talk about it so much, we're going to look over at Gush, because I mentioned that I'm starting to really, Gush is becoming really attractive to me. But one thing I want to point out to you guys, I noticed this because I actually posted a screenshot of SPY and Gush on my Instagram over the weekend. And as I was looking at them, I was like, man, they're moving. Not exactly, obviously, because I mean, they don't correlate 100% or even relatively close. But like, look at just SPY's chart on the 1 hour chart, and then look at Gush. I mean, it's like I said, it's not 100% correlation. It's never gonna be. But it's just funny how literally within a couple days, you can see Gush had this huge sell-off. This was on the 21st. And then when we look at SPY, a few days later, on the 4th, so about, what, a week later or so of trading, we had a sell-off, and then it continued down as well. So, I mean, like I said, it's not any, like, direct correlation or anything. It's just pretty interesting to me. And Gush also slightly rallied. I wouldn't say rallied, but, I mean, it rallied off the low at least by about a percentage point or so. From where it was at the opening bell. So it was just something interesting that I seen. But how's it going there, Troy? Swinging some UWT. Let's see. I wasn't even taking an awful look at oil over the weekend, or not over the weekend, but over the last couple days. I did notice though that it retested. It went all the way down to below $55, which I did not like. I wanted it to really stay above 55, 55.50. Obviously, overall market continued to go down on Thursday and Friday, so that's going to somewhat contribute to that. But overall, let's see, pull up our 1 hour chart really quick. Yeah, overall, man, it could really go either way right now, because what I wanted to see was that our MACD wasn't necessarily in the green yet. It was going to be like showing that selling is just now starting to wear off. But I mean, I think it's still going to go up a little bit tomorrow, especially if the overall market's going up tomorrow. Let's put it this way. If the market goes up tomorrow, I'm betting oil's probably going to go up tomorrow as well. However, it's going to also see some pretty strong resistance right around that 56.50 where that SMA line is. What does that mean for you and UWT? Because obviously UWT pretty much correlates almost exactly with CL. You're talking about around 1535 is where you're probably going to see some pretty strong resistance. Let's see, what price point exactly did you get in? I'm assuming you got in when it was selling off. Hoping oil can get back to 57. I mean, it's probably, let's take a look, 56.50. If it can break through 56.50, it would probably go on up to 57 within the next trading session or so, unless something crazy happens, of course, like the inventory report or whatever on Wednesday comes out showing we gained 2 million barrels versus I don't remember how much they're expecting to cut, if they're expecting to cut this week or not, but pretty much unless if the expectations go completely crazy or something, I would see this going back up to 57. But overall, I think UWT will probably retest like 1535 to 1550 tomorrow. But yeah, Gush, like I was talking about a second ago with Gush is just getting around a very, very, very attractive buying point, in my opinion. Zoom in here on our 180 day. It's just, it broke this low back in February that we hit when it was on a roll, and then we've kind of, it's also, Gush has pretty much kind of entered a zone too. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Let's show the low of the last year. I think we're probably going to enter this range of around $8 to about 10, 11 on Gush for the time being. I think right around 1050-ish. You're going to see quite a bit of level of resistance overall for Gush. But I mean, say you hopped in right now and just swung trade it. Say you hopped in somewhere around 867, and I think it's going to retest somewhere around 1050 long term. That's a 20% return if it approaches 1042. And I mean, say you decide to sell out a little early around like 950, which I think it's going to retest that within maybe the next day or so. You're talking still about a 10% return. So honestly, I'm just hoping I don't wake up tomorrow to see Gush already over $9 or something, because I do think overall it's going to bounce back fairly quickly. It's massively oversold right now. I can't believe I didn't even see it whenever it was this low. I didn't even get a notification from TD Ameritrade, Robinhood, or anything how much this was down to start the day. If I did, I probably would have went ahead and invested in some of it and held it at least over the weekend, because part of me is almost worried now that this thing's going to open up over $9, and at that point, I'm not going to want to invest. I want to get it under $9, because overall, I was planning on selling it around like 950, somewhere around there, because I think you're going to see your first resistance right around 950, 960. But like I said, even then, you're talking like a 10% return. That's why I would love to get in right around here. 500 shares at 14.39. So I mean, you're up a little bit already. Let's take a look. So you got in at 14, so that's good because you waited for some confirmation, which is awesome. So you got in right around 14.39, 14.38. It's at what price right now? Right around is it 14.87 or yeah, 14.87 is what it looks like it's at right now. So you're up right around 3.5%. That's not too bad. I think you'll probably, like I said, I mean, if it approaches 1530, say 1530, 1540, and you start to see a little bit of resistance around there, like it's kind of doing this number back and forth, I would consider just taking half of your positions off the table. You're going to be up roughly 7%. Like I said, no one ever gets hurt by covering profit at the end of the day. And I'm not saying you have to like sell all 500 shares. I'm just saying if I was holding that many and I'm up 7% overall, I would consider taking off probably at least half of my position. Of course, if, like I said, there's a bunch of resistance there. It looks like it keeps getting rejected every time it tries to test it. Kind of just does this yo-yo action around it. I would just consider taking some sort of profit off the table. That way, if for some reason it gets rejected and then just falls off a cliff, you won't be kicking yourself going, damn, I should have covered that profit. At least you would have at least covered some of it at that point. But if you want oil to go back to 57, you're probably looking at somewhere still around 1575. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, you're talking about squeezing another 2 to 2.5% out of it. It's just risk versus reward. Just in my opinion, if I can get a 7% profit and lock it all, why would I risk for another maybe 2% profit? Because I don't like maybes. I just like my for sure. If I have for sure 7% profit already, I'm more likely to cover that and just look to re-enter whenever it pulls back again. Because, I mean, this ain't, I mean, oil in general, it's just one of those, we get on a run, but it always pulls back at some point. Now, it's been a lot more volatile over the last week or two, which is awesome. But, I mean, there's buying opportunities within oil everywhere. Like, see, you could have got UWT right here. It was up for a while, and then it pulled back. You could have bought on this pullback, rode it up for 1 day, 2 days, and made some good money. And then again, we had a pullback here. You could have bought again. I mean, it just has opportunities over and over. So it's never a bad idea to take some money off the table. Be happy at 15.35. Yeah, I would be too. I mean, shit, 7% profit, and I'm assuming you bought most of these on Friday. Yeah, you would almost had to, right? Yeah, I'm assuming you bought all this Friday. So I mean, if I could make 7% in 1 to 2 days of trading every single day, I would definitely be happy with that. But overall for oil, I mean, I'm still bullish on oil just because the overall trend that we constantly see year after year with oil. For the most part, obviously, we have those years where oil just kind of slumps down into the $30, $40 price range. Rarely, but it does happen. I mean, I'm still bullish though until we go under. Once we go under 50 is when 51 actually, not 50. Once we go under 51, I'll officially be like bearish. Like I'll have thought, okay, oil's rolled over, it's going down. Like I'll be full-fledged bearish at that point. I mean, you're talking a pretty decent move to the downside for that to happen. I mean, you're talking another almost 9% move in oil to the downside. So, I mean, we'll see what happens overall, but I'm still pretty bullish overall. Pull up the 180-day on oil. I mean, it's just like the overall market, right? Overall market has been on a run since the beginning of the year. We kind of saw it was starting to run a little bit out of steam. Let's pull up SPY again, for example. SPY been on a roll. We saw it kind of start to struggle right around this 280 mark, and it started to roll over. We kind of seen the same thing with oil, and oil was kind of showing the signs a little bit earlier, starting around mid to late February. We seen it got smacked right around $58. Got smacked real hard. That was the day it went down 3 to 4%, somewhere around there. And we've just kind of been a little sideways since, and we really just took this new leg down, and we retest that SMA on Friday. What I do like is oil, which is what also I like for the overall market, I should mention, is oil bounced beautifully off of its SMA. SPY, it's still kind of hovering right around it. If I remember right, it's just barely above it. Yeah, it's just barely above it. So, I mean, watching oil overnight, I'd be watching oil overnight tonight more than I'd be watching SPY because I think oil overnight is going to dictate if the market goes green or red tomorrow. That's just my personal opinion. If oil can hold up above 56 overnight and continue on up, then I think we'll definitely be a green day overall for the market tomorrow. But it's pretty interesting to see how oil and the market have really been correlating with one another over the last, I mean, I would say since right around October, personally. You just watch it from around October and then watch SPY from around October. Right around October, we peaked out, started going down. I mean, we had a little bit of choppy sideways action for a while, but then really right around December when we had the sell-off, what happened with oil? Oil hit its low of the year. Low of the last, I think, 2 or 3 years, actually. I forget how long ago. Yeah, it was a low, almost low of 3 years. So I can't lie. Whenever oil went into the 40s, I thought we were going back to the 30s. I didn't know where we were going to find a bottom. I could tell we were going to have a little bit of support right around 42, but I didn't really have much trust that it was going to hold up because oil was just massively selling off. So, yeah, it'll be pretty interesting overall to see how oil will determine if the market's going to go up or not overnight. Yeah, but at the end of the day, actually, I heard there was some news about, I forget which, man, that was Thursday. I heard about this, so it's probably old news anyways. But there was bad news actually for U.S. oil companies. I can't even remember off the top of my head what it was. It was on investing.com, I believe, was who put the headline out. Which, by the way, if you all don't have investing.com, the app, that's a pretty cool app. I'm not affiliated with them or anything, but it's an app that I use, and they'll literally send you emails. They won't like spam your emails or anything necessarily, but like they'll send out like they sent me today like the economic calendar for the upcoming week. So that's pretty cool to like take a look at on Sundays. Like you can literally just go through there. I don't know if it's showing up good or not on the webcam there, but you can literally just go through there and see day by day, hour by hour, all the economic events. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much, honestly, that's the only reason I'm still bullish on oil is because we're just going into the season, late March, April. April's where we really take that big leap. Usually around end of March into April, we take a huge leap within oil. If we go back to just like last year, let's see. So we're in, I guess let's go back to the 3 year because we don't have, let's just do this. So let's see, in just January, so you can see February we had a big drop within oil in 2018, and then March we were kind of a little bit of sideways, and then right at the beginning of April, bam, we just shot up like, what was that, almost $5. We shot up $5 right at the beginning of April. I mean, huge move. And then we just continued. We got some resistance right around $71, $72. Got rejected, built a new support right around $65. Bam. I mean, it just, spring, summer, it seems like almost every year, spring and summertime, we take a pretty good move to the upside. And then we kind of hang out. I do think overall, like I said, I will say I'll stick with my original estimate that I think oil does top out around $65. Just based on the price movement over the last couple weeks. Originally, I said right around 65, I think will get rejected. But there was a lot of analysts and whatnot saying 70 to 75, so I was like, well, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I will say somewhere around 70, but no. Just with the recent price action, I think 65 is right around where the oil market will top out this year. But who knows? I might be wrong on that. Just like with SPY, I think overall, I don't think the market's going to make new all-time highs this year. Everybody keeps talking about the market, like SPY is going to go to 300, which would be like 3,000 on the S&P 500. I just don't see it happening. I think overall the market's pretty much topped out, and I think we're going to kind of be within just a choppy range for the next year or two. Who knows how long they keep it up before we ultimately have our plunge where we come back to reality and probably retest 200, which would be about 2,000 on the S&P 500. That's just my prediction. I mean, I'm not saying I think the market's going to go into recession this year, but I do think within the next year to 2 years. But I've kind of been saying that since I started trading, but there has been a lot of volatility since I started trading too. So literally, I started trading right after the January dump last year, and it's just been pretty volatile ever since. What's crazy is when you look at it, this last year's dump was a lot worse, but for some reason this one felt worse than this one in my opinion. Other than obviously that last like couple days of the year when we really just started dumping, that was pretty bad. But yeah, there's been a lot of market volatility. How's it going, Shirley? Oh, for last week, Alteria took a 45% stake in Cron. Wow. So did that happen during trading hours on Friday? Let's see. Let's pull up the news tab. Alteria Company, $1.8 billion investment. What time was this? 11:56. It's not telling me if it's AM or PM. Was this after hours or during the market? Either way, I think if anything, that's going to be good for Cron. Let's pull out and look at our 20-day. I kind of like Cron here. Actually, yeah, I really like Cron here. The only thing I do want to see is that it'll get back above the SMA line. At least, let's pull out the 180-day first before I say that. Yeah. Yeah, because I don't really see it pulling back to like 18 until the overall market rolls over and pulls back big time. But what I really want to look at is our 20-day 1 hour. I like the RSI setup. I like the MACD as well. Only thing I want to see is a little bit of confirmation. Now, I know, Peter, you trade the options. But still, in my opinion, I want to see this thing get back above $22 before I would even consider playing options on it as well. I mean, you might be able to play like how I play my short-term SPY options. You might be able to play a quick day trade on it or something. But I want to wait for some confirmation, see this thing get back around 22 plus and stay above this SMA line. Let's see how it worked for the minute chart. So yeah, the SMA kind of acted as a little bit of a resistance on our 1 day 1 minute chart on Friday. Got above it, bounced off it a couple times, but then once it broke it late morning, it just held below it pretty much throughout the rest of the day. So I'd be watching the 1 hour chart on Monday, kind of just see where it opens up on Monday. Who knows? It might open up above $22. And if that's the case, then I think you have a thumbs up on going ahead and placing some options on it. Because I mean, pot's the thing right now. Pot is kind of, in my opinion, pot is, I would honestly say, like the Bitcoin of this year. Everybody's wanting to get in on it, and I mean, I still think there's a little bit more room to run. You have to find the right ones. Cron, I think 25 is probably the top where it gets topped out, as we already seen it do it once or twice. But I mean, that's still quite a lot of room to run. So I think this was a good little pullback for it to kind of chill out on the RSI from that standpoint, from the overall overbought, oversold perspective. But yeah, I think it has a few percentage points to run. So if you're looking at trading options on Cron, then I think if it opens up above $22 tomorrow, then you got a green light to go ahead and play some options on that. But yeah, I definitely think right now pot is kind of the Bitcoin of 2019, in my opinion. I mean, you keep hearing about pot stocks everywhere you go. Martha Stewart's getting in on it. I mean, there's just, everybody's trying to get in on pot right now. Canopy, I don't even know Canopy's ticker symbol, but I mean, just a whole bunch of different like pot stocks overall going crazy right now. I mean, I remember when Cron was $4 to $5, just kind of hung around $5 to $6 a share all throughout last year, and then out of nowhere it took a bump up to like $13, and I was like, golly, this thing's gonna come crashing down, and it did. But it built to an amazing support right around $8 to $9. We came briefly back down to $6. Right around here is where I was like, see, this thing, pot overall, I was like, pot's just gonna be a bust. And then all of a sudden, it, along with the one that's been the worst performer, honestly, was the one that started it all, Tilray. Tilray has been, in my opinion, atrocious over the last couple months, ever since it had that steroid pop up to $300, which was purely manipulation, by the way. But ever since then, it's just been disappointing. I mean, it literally looks like a pump and dump penny stock chart right here. And honestly, I don't think it's done going down. I think this thing's ultimately coming down back to where it belongs, around $20 to $30. But we'll see what happens with that. Canopy, how's it going, Michael? Canopy is on CGC. Okay, thanks for that. So yeah, Canopy has been moving kind of sideways. When did that news break out recently? Wasn't that like, I forget what day. I know it wasn't too long ago. It wasn't the 26th, was it? Yeah, I don't remember when the whole was. Canopy is the one that Martha Stewart and I think Snoop Dogg as well, right? I don't remember though. But either way, I mean, there's a whole bunch of pot stocks out there right now that are doing crazy. But I would stay away from it. If there was one I'd stay away from, it's Tilray. I think Tilray is going to keep going down, in my opinion. It has the short-term pops, but it continues to just go down. I look for, like I said, by the end of the year, I mean, you guys can hold me to it. I'm going to say by the end of the year, Tilray is back at $50, $60 probably. It'll just keep going down. Unless, of course, there's some kind of crazy news that comes out and pumps it back up, and then it's going to take it a while to fall back again. But Tilray's just been pumped up way too much. I actually kind of like Canopy here, too, in all honesty. Looking at the 180-day chart. I don't know where it ended the day. Let's see. 45.40 after hours. Yeah, I kind of like Tilray. I kind of like Canopy here. You have a potential, I would say around $50 potential if you're looking at actually trading, buying stock. That's about a $5 return. But the pot stocks just aren't for me. It's not my cup of tea, but I know there's a lot of people making some good money trading them, especially on the option side. I know Peter's had some good success in the last few weeks here and there with doing, I believe, Cron options. So, I mean, some people make a lot of money on them. Just like Bitcoin. A lot of people made millions on Bitcoin. There's going to be a lot of people make millions on pot stocks. But I'll just stick with what works for me, which is, again, these short-term SPY options, where I'm literally in and out of my trade within a few minutes usually, and I make 5 to 15%. Till rate is 63. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Hell, that might happen by the end of March, because it's only at, what, 70 right now, surely? So I wouldn't be surprised in all honesty if Tilray's around $60 by within the next month or so, if it continues to go down, unless if pot stocks overall continue to get pulled up. But hopefully our stream quality is still doing all right. I always like to check on that just because I know in the past, in the last few months, I had some issues overall with it. But yeah, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I start trading, like really getting into trading, like I am right now again, I'm ready for the weekend to be over. Like, don't get me wrong, I mean, it's always nice to have a day off and whatnot, but I'm just ready for new week, start making some trades, start making some money, start learning some more. It's all about learning at the end of the day. Going in, learning from your mistakes. If you get out too early, learn where you're getting out too early, why you're getting out too early. Usually with me, when I get out too early, it's usually psychology. That's what I always say. Trading is about 90% psychology, 10% head knowledge. Because the head knowledge of the stock market isn't very difficult. I mean, it's difficult to get started. You have to learn how to read a chart, use your indicators, all that good stuff. But I would say 90% of it's 90% of it is psychology, and 10% is actual head knowledge. I mean, you might say 75-25, but either way, heavy psychology. And I just can't wait for the day where I can actually sit here, do the live stock market streams with you guys from the laptop more than anything. Because when I trade from my phone, no matter how identical I have it set up, like from my laptop perspective, I have the same indicators and whatnot on my phone. It just looks so different. And when I'm at work, you have the stresses of work and whatnot. It's hard to get the maximum profit out of a trade. Like literally, my trade on Friday, for example. Let's pull it up here. We got in this trade literally right around, when was it? It was right around here. We got around this trade and we bought in. We bought some puts, of course, because I saw it was a little bit overbought. Bought some puts, saw it come down, and then it was kind of just hobbling sideways. I was hobbling back and forth between up 4% to up like 7% or something like that. And then I was like, okay, when I finally go up 6, 7, whatever percentage amount it was, I was like, I'm just going to cover that profit. And it did. It did, like literally right here. And then literally I missed out on triple the profit whenever I should have knew it was probably going to keep dropping. But hindsight's always 20/20, right? Like I said, never be afraid to take those profits off the table. I just like to try to manage my stress, so to speak, so I don't try to like hold stuff too long. If I can cover 5% every time I do a day trade, 5-10% here and there every time I do a day trade, I will not complain about my overall returns week by week by week. Compound that overall. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, just look at the last month. Last month we've had, this has literally been the best month since I've ever started trading. I think my best month prior to this was, I don't even know, somewhere around up 15%. So I mean, this is like so far this has been the best start to, not only the best start to a month, but the best probably I would say 3 week stretch, 2 to 3 week stretch ever since I started trading. And you can literally tell when we started doing this SPY option thing that I started doing. We started this right around the 26th, 27th, and then the rest is history. It's just been working. So it's pretty cool. SPY going back up. Yeah, I talked about that a little bit, but overall, like I said, I'll be interested to see if we can hold above 275 overnight. Don't get me wrong, just because if it'll go, because it will more than likely go below 275 at some point. I'm not saying that that's a reason to freak out. I honestly think it's going to retest 274 overnight. That would not be a surprise. if it would retest 274. If anything, I would like that because that would prime us up a little bit more from the oversold standpoint to give us another leg to go higher. But 284, I don't know about that. We'll have to retest 280, 281 first. We have a critical, huge resistance right around 280, 281. So if we can break through that, then yeah, I think we'll hit 284 probably within a day or two after surpassing pretty much once we get through 282, 283, I think we will be on the safe side again. You can see we got right up close to 282 before we really got the smack down, but 281 is the level to watch. If it can get back above 281, pull back at some point and hold above 281, not get up to 282 and then get smacked down back into the 270s again. If we can get above 281, have some sort of a pullback, stay above it, and then continue on higher, then yeah, that'll be pretty bullish for the market overall. I do think overall we'll probably do it within the next month, but the range for now, overall range, is still from around the high 260s up until about 281, 282. 282 was your price target a month ago. Yeah, and a month ago we were talking, what, that would have been the 10th of February. So the market is right around 270 at that point. So yeah. And at that point we had a good little pullback as well. And overall, like I said, I mean, this little 5% or so drop we've had, it doesn't scare me. I mean, we kind of seen this coming the last week or two, week leading up to this, because we saw that the market got rejected once at that point, and then after it got rejected, we were kind of just going sideways for a few days. We were having very, very small moves, like up 0.05%, up 0.1. We were just having a very kind of just modest week, not last week, but the week before, and then we had a quick move to the upside, and then bam, we got rejected, and we had our pullback. And we've kind of rolled over, so to speak, now. So I would not be surprised, like I said, if we retest it again over the next week or two. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised to see us continue on down and maybe even retest 260s before all said and done. But just by looking at our RSI and MACD, my gut's telling me at least for the next day or two, we're probably going to have a good little decent bounce. And we might even retest 278 to 280. But I just don't think right now we're going to retest 281, 282 yet. But we might, like I said, right now it could go either way. We had a hell of a rally on Friday, which was unwarranted. So I don't really know what to do with that yet. But just playing the odds, I would bet at least tomorrow's going to be an up day. That's my opinion. How big of one, I don't know. I think the highest we go is 276.50 tomorrow, though. But we'll see. That'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. But, yeah, I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. It's just another Sunday stock watch. Wanted to hop on here again and chat with you guys for a little bit. Like I said, if you're new to the channel and you've tuned in this far, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below. We do this every Sunday, and we go live just about every single day. It might change in the future as I'll start working a little bit later because summer's around the corner. We can work longer hours and whatnot, so I might only go live like 3 to 4 times a week instead of every day, but we go live almost every single day either way. So if you're into stock market trading on Robinhood, trading options, day trading, swing trading, all that good stuff, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below. And like I said, if you like the stream, definitely make sure to smash the like button. I can't stress how much I appreciate that and appreciate all of you tuning in today. And then of course we have that Discord group chat, and that's down in the description box. Super easy to join, literally takes a couple minutes. I bet I could even get my grandfather to join if he had a smartphone. But I'll break this one down real quick for you, Shirley, and then I'll have to run. But SJI, see, 30.75 with a 75 stop loss, price target of 32. So your price target is 32 what? 32.72. First off, let's look at the 180 day. So your price target is 32.72. Okay, well, you're going to have quite a bit of resistance first, right around 32, just a little bit north of 32. But if it can break through that, then yeah, that'll be nice. This one has a good little dividend as well, 28, almost 29 cents. That's a pretty good dividend for this stock. So you might have a little bit of pickup and buying over the next day or two due to the dividend coming up. What was the sell-off for? Was it for, okay, earnings? Missed on earnings, and who knows how, I don't know what the guidance was. But yeah, I kind of like this stock overall. Every time it pulls back, it keeps making lower highs and higher highs and higher lows. Built some good support right around $28, $29 as well. So yeah, I kind of like it here. And your stop loss is 75 cents, so you're not talking about a big risk. So yeah, I kind of like it. You might want to consider downing your target of 32.72. I mean, not lowering it, but if you notice again some resistance right around 32 or just above 32, you might want to consider taking some profit or all of the profit, depending on how much you're putting in, off the table. But yeah, I kind of like that trade, especially with that tasty dividend. I mean, that's a pretty good dividend right there. So, I mean, even if, say, it came down slightly with your stop loss, I mean, depending on how much you buy, I'm not going to say you're going to cancel out the loss or anything, but it'll make it not taste so bad at least. So, yeah, good little call out there. But, yeah, on that note, I'll go ahead and just wrap the stream up. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the stream. Like I said, if you did, smash the like button. Cannot stress that enough. And consider subscribing if you haven't already. But I will see you guys in the Discord group chat overnight tonight. And as always, continue making your profits. Sorry, I had a notification. But yeah, I will be in Discord throughout the night. And again, tomorrow, I'll be in there probably quite a bit early on in the morning, since I have the doctor appointment with my fiance. I do have a meeting at work before that, first thing in the morning. So I'll be a little bit quiet early on from about 7 to 8 a.m. probably. But after that, I'll be pretty active for a few hours in there. So thanks a lot, Shirley. Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy the stream. But until next time, guys, keep on going out there, making your profits, covering your profits, and achieving some financial freedom this year. And I will see you guys probably again tomorrow for another live stream. But until then, take it easy, guys.